The zombie apocalypse is inevitable. At least the mobile phone DDoS attack zombie apocalypse is inevitable. For Tech Republic and ZDNet, I'm Dan Patterson with Donny Chong. He is a product director at Nexusguard, a cybersecurity firm. And today we're talking about NTP amplification attacks and how they have taken over many Android devices. Donny, thanks a lot for your time today. I wonder if we could first start by defining our terms. What is an NTP amplification attack?
So NTP is a very common service, which is it stands for Network Time Protocol. Basically, computers talk to each other to synchronize network time. And so in the case of a DDoS NTP amplification attacks, it is the fact that this is a very common service, like I mentioned earlier. And because of the existing vulnerabilities to this service, attackers would usually exploit this service to conduct their own amplification attacks. Basically, what it does is it sends packets to these NTP services and reflects these attacks and amplify it to send DDoS attacks to unknowing victims.
And how are mobile devices, particularly Android, although we know that all mobile devices are susceptible to certain similar attacks, how has NTP attacks taken over some Android phones?
I think that is a clarification we need to make. It is not that the NTP amplification takes over the Android device. It's actually two separate items altogether. So NTP amplification attack is a vector which is commonly used recently to attack targets. However, when Android is in the picture, basically what happens is Android is taken over to be formed as part of a botnet, and they could potentially be used to launch an attack, which includes the NTP amplification attack.
Are there examples in the wild of these types of attacks occurring?
Oh, definitely. So in the recent report that Nexusguard have launched, we noticed that in just Q3 alone, there was a significant rise in the amount of NTP amplification attacks we've seen on our networks. Notably, it was close to a 5 times increase over the second quarter. And we think that it is not surprising because just in this year, 2017 alone, we have noticed that there are 57 recorded CVEs related to NTP. And therefore, I think it's a matter of time. We realize it's a matter of time before attackers caught hold of this and started to exploit this service to launch DDoS attacks.
So what do you use to measure the amplitude of these attacks, and how are they differentiated from at least in terms of scale, differentiated from a routine DDoS attack?
So when we say amplification, basically what it means that in the world of HTTP requests as well as in web, you send a very small request for information towards a backend service, and then the response is usually larger than the request because a request is just, for example, a HTTP GET request. However, the server will respond with a larger response because you are requesting for data to be sent from the backend server, and through the exploits and the design of such protocols, an attacker is able to exploit and manipulate to extract a larger than normal response, hence the amplification factor. So typically for an NTP attack, it could be really large. Okay, for 1 meg, you could probably get in amplification factor of up to triple digits.
Interesting. So, Donny, I wonder if you could leave us with some advice, some best practices. How would I, if I'm a private enterprise or a government organization, how would I mitigate attacks like this?
So NTP amplification attacks, when it comes, they are UDP based, and it usually comes in very, very large size. So when organizations consider their cyber defense strategy, they need to make sure that they have a mixed and layered approach and not rely on a single technology or a single appliance, for example. They have to consider that this is a network attack, and these attacks will actually overwhelm, and saturate their uplinks. So they have to make sure that a cloud-based response to this DDoS attack has to be factored into their overall strategy. So you have to mix, best of breeds of different strategies put it together to become a very comprehensive mitigation strategy.